So the first of these streams hasn't started, but it's going to start in a minute. It will have already completed by the time we basically upload this. I just want to see if they've added it to the news feed yet. 3rd of August, yeah, Gen Round 22, Part 1, is still the only thing on the news feed, and this stream starts in actually 10 minutes from now. What stream, you may add? Well, they have just concluded, again, they haven't, they will have, but it's already been on the transition stream, talking about Warframe / Soulframe, the transition from Warframe to Soulframe, and I'm hoping this hasn't gone horribly wrong, at 2 PM ET yesterday, August the 22nd. So what this was basically, the best way to put it is kind of the way that they put it, and it was not a grand farewell, it was a sit and talk about what is going to happen between Warframe, Soulframe. Steve put it best when he turned around and said, and yes, I'll leave Protea here as we go for this, because this will be shown in the Devstream, we'll get onto that in a minute. I didn't realise I'd started playing this at that point, my bad. They did say that members of the team who are now working on Soulframe are also working on Warframe, but there's a large proportion of that team working on Warframe for the next big update. The next mainstream, they actually worded it as. Sorry, I've just got to jump back here because Protea's deluxe skin looks absolutely amazing, and when they actually turned her around and put the helmet on, yeah, I'm looking forward to her. Anyway, yes, I'm glad they finally put an end to the who's leaving, who's not leaving, will we ever see them again questions that have been around for over a month now. Yes, a lot of the Warframe team members have gone on to make Soulframe. This is expected because this is a studio, after all. They work on other games as well. People who work on Warframe have been working on other games for years now, but they will also be coming back. So they're working for Digital Extreme, and as long as Digital Extreme are making the two games, they can be working on one, both. Over time, there will be more and more people kind of solely working on Warframe, yes, and solely working on Soulframe. And they're basically just going to swap members from the teams as it goes on. They are not ending Warframe, as a lot of people kept saying from this. Calling it the transition stream from Warframe to Soulframe, kind of a bad choice of words on their behalf, but they basically kind of started really early in this to confirm they're not ending Warframe. They've got lots of things planned, and I had a quick flick through. But as you could probably tell, I didn't catch any of the audio. I should go back and get it. But when they say there's big things for Warframe in the future, Sheldon's eyes light up. So, there may be some really interesting things to come. What did get me though, they will be showing this Friday, the 26th of August at 2 PM ET in Devstream 163, I think the number was, Synax, the next frame, who is going to have a Laverian entry. It's about damn time. They haven't added anybody to this since Lavos, who was a year ago. They had this great idea to have the Laverian bringing stories for older frames, and then kind of abandoned the system. This is where Prex cards and such were originally found, but since Lavos, we've found them in other places, which is kind of a shame. But just the fact that they are going to go, now we will kind of transition ourselves. They said in the transition stream they will be working on both, because Soulframe was announced really, really early in its development, and it's not at a point where they can really show anything from it. There's a few things, but I'm saving that for something else. They didn't show anything from it, apart from a little cinematic of grass, and the fact that if they mention the YouTube page way too many times, just going to say that one. But it's just the fact that, yes, the teams will they are working together on both. For now, when it's needed, they will still share team members and everything else, but I'm just glad that they turned around and Steve said it. They've taken people off Soulframe to try and get Warframe's next mainline ready and out. That made me smile. Because it's nice to see them actually put some caring into the game, even though as I started this, they aren't updating the news site on their own website or the terminal in-game with things like this. They still haven't actually put up that there's a Devstream, at least at the time of recording. Hopefully they would have done that soon. But I'm just glad to hear that they're actually... the transition is a good thing, not a bad thing. They just kind of wanted to have one last stream with the old Devstream in there, the original Devstream, 10 years almost on, which I'm glad to see. I'm glad that they did that. Kind of a farewell to the original team, because this Friday, 26th of August, 2 PM ET, there will be... I don't want to call it the new team, but there was a few changes that I didn't see coming with the teams that they haven't kind of verified, so I'm not going to go into it. But there will be a Laverian. There is the new frame. They will be showing Veilbreaker itself during the dev stream. Which, to be fair, probably would make sense to actually play the Veilbreaker trailer as we mention this. But during the dev stream this Friday, 26th of August, 2 PM ET, they will be showing more about Veilbreaker, gameplay in Veilbreaker. They mentioned a full animation, so that had me a little bit intrigued. Not to mention the fact that this guy is going to return. There is more on that I'm not delving into. I want to know the time frame of this before I do anything else, if I'm being honest. I do have a video about just this, but hey, time will tell whether I actually kind of do that or not. Anyway, more importantly than even Veilbreaker, because as good as it's going to be, that they said they're going to bring back some of the 3 people from the beginning of the new WarQuest. Cal175 is the first of this. Technically he's the second, because we've already seen what happened to one of the 3. That leaves, I think it's Veso was the Corpus guy. I don't say that because I can never remember if that's actually the right name or not. Somebody will correct me on that in the comments below. But they will be showing all of this goodness, and more importantly than any of that, they are going to touch... they are going to talk about, they are going to touch upon cross-save, cross-play. When's it coming? What state it's in? They said they were going to start testing it next month, back in July. And I was really hoping this was going to be one of those, oh dear partners slash creators slash whatever they want to call it these days, people who have access to the test servers, people who have won the lottery in the forums and have access to the test servers, they would have thrown it up there and went, well, have fun. But they didn't. Mainly because the test servers only exist on PC, which is probably why it wouldn't have worked. But they said they were going to test it next month, and last time I checked, the 16th of July, and it's the 23rd, and it is actually 23rd now, of August. That's over a month. That puts this as next month, and next week will be the month after, meaning that yet again they said they were going to do something that they kind of didn't do. But they only said this in passing. I'm assuming the Barrow event was meant to be a one-time thing. They decided to expand that, and we all just have to hope and pray and cross our fingers when this goes live on twitch.tv/Warframe, August the 26th, the 2 PM ET. There will be drops. There wasn't for the transition stream. That was only about 30 minutes long anyway. Literally, the transition stream was, they just wanted to talk a little bit about Soulframe, the Warframe. God, they've got me doing it now. Warframe, the transition from making Warframe to making Soulframe, but still making Warframe at the same time. And then team members from both are going to be swapping around each other. It's a studio. It makes sense that they were going to do it that way, and I don't know why it wasn't until they mentioned it that clicked in my head. But they will talk about that at the beginning of the dev stream with drops and everything enabled, and after that, when they start to get into Veilbreaker, we can hope that they will date it. They will give us a rough estimate. How long till it's going to come? Is it going to be days, weeks, months? Who knows? We have to wait until then and find out. The fact they're going to talk and mention more about cross-save in more detail. They did promise in more detail. They had to mention it during Tenno Live at TennoCon 2022, but they're going to talk more about it. So I'm hoping it's a lot further along than when Steve last mentioned it prior to that, when he said, ooh, chat now works between them. That was our only update for a year. Other than it's coming and we're working on it. They just got the chat to work, even though it was working in the demo that they showed us back in 2021. So hopefully it's come a long way from there. We'll find out. Devstream 163, August 26th at 2 PM ET. Somebody will be able to go to the comment section, tell me how many times I have now said August 26th at 2 PM ET. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.